around 5 o'clock, we had lost power. Me and my wife was kind of relaxing, kind of nonchalant, and she was in the living room and I was sitting outside on the carport.
And then around, I guess 6 o'clock, satellite went out. And then the power went off.
We had been without power for a couple hours, so I was down in the basement looking for batteries, and I couldn't find what I was looking for, and so I hollered up at my wife to come down and help me. And she got about halfway down the stairs, and the house started shaking. So she turned around right away, and she yelled Hallie, my daughter's name, and she went back upstairs to get her.
I heard a noise, like a jarring, rumbling, whistling noise. The house started shaking, so I told my wife to go to the bathroom. So she went to the bathroom and I blew the lamps out.
We heard the big jet engine sound, and I told her, I said, we need to get to the basement as soon as possible.
As we were getting to our basement, my cell phone was ringing, and it was my supervisor, Donna Rodriguez, calling to check on us. And I said, Donna, we're getting hit pretty hard right now. Can I call you back? And she said, sure.
When I got to them, I grabbed both of them and started pulling them down the stairs, and I got to the second step towards the basement, and it slammed the door behind me and blew all the windows out of the house.
And then all the windows exploded.
By the time we got to the basement, and got situated, the storm had hit, and we just heard stuff cracking, breaking everywhere.
And I heard something crack and pop, and our roof actually come off our house.
And we just basically slid to the bottom of the stairwell, and we got up underneath the stairs and just held each other, and I thought that was it. I thought we were getting ready, I was going to lose everything. My wife, my daughter, our house. I've never been so scared in my entire life.
It actually lasted 20 to 30 seconds, and it was gone.
The National Weather Service tells us that the storm that hit Ringgold only grew in strength as it swept through Appleton. By the time it hit Bradley County, it was a raging EF4 tornado with winds of more than 190 miles an hour.
There have been 9 people confirmed dead here. I'm actually at Leadmine Valley Road, where there have been 4 houses that have been just completely leveled.
Governor Bill Haslam also was in Cleveland earlier in the day touring the devastation there. Here's what he had to say.
We're here for a couple of purposes. One, so we could have firsthand sight and knowledge of the damage to see how the state can help. Second, obviously, to let the folks of this part of Tennessee know of our prayer and concern for what's happened here. Did talk this morning with President Obama, and he
after it stopped and it got to the point like, okay, whatever has happened has happened. I went upstairs and everything was totally destroyed. The windows were gone. There was trees sticking inside the house from the neighbor's yard. I had trees from the roof. There was water dripping down out of the attic. There was grass embedded in the walls. It will not come out. It's actually part of the paint now. And my entire neighborhood was devastated. The house across the street was actually gone. My next door neighbor's roof was gone. The roof behind it was gone. Everything everywhere. Cars that were supposed to be in their driveway or in the garage or across the street or down the street, it was totally destroyed.
And there were shards of glass, maybe 2 to 3 foot long, sticking in the door. So I ran to the living room and looked out what used to be our window. And it was just total devastation. My vehicles were turned upside down.
Well, the surrounding area was just devastated within probably 200 to 300 yards from our house. My daughter's bedroom, her ceiling got completely taken off, and half of it blew through our living room ceiling, and the other half went through my truck.
So when we crested the hill and looked down in that valley where that subdivision was, it was just like you just could not believe what we were seeing. You couldn't really describe it to anyone. You had to see it.
Total destruction. It looked like a war zone.
I've never, I'm 35, I've never seen nothing like that ever in my life. And I pray I'll never see it again.
That these were people's lives that had been torn apart.
And it was just devastating to see how quickly people's homes had been destroyed. It was almost like you didn't even know what to say. You were speechless to see what was around. just the home's gone. I mean, you could see where a basement had been, and all that was left was the block, if all the block was even there. And now one house was standing, and the one behind it was gone. It's just hard to imagine that happening so quickly.
We surely had people impacted by the tornado, but we just didn't have an idea of the level of impact the tornadoes had.
I came into the plant that morning, and we were trying to get a count of everyone who had made it in, who hasn't made it in. And we had 3 or 4 key individuals that we hadn't heard from, hadn't spoke with, no one else had spoke with. And David Disney had asked me to go out and see if I could locate them. One of the first areas I went to was Blue Springs Road. I didn't realize it was that severe at that time. And part of a school was leveled in that area. Homes were completely blown off the foundation. They were still looking for bodies in one of the areas we was in. And a friend of mine from high school walks up, I see from time to time, walks up behind me and says, "Eric, he said, I lost everything." And I looked at him and I said, "Friend, you've lost nothing, you still got your family." And some guys from Volunteer Electric, some of the linemen were there working. I looked over at the guys at Volunteer, and they couldn't even work. They was, grown, rough linemen squalling from the devastation. But we continued on and found, we located all 4 of the associates that we was looking for from the Mouse Creek plant.
When I got to work that day, we started contacting our people, our folks, wanting to get in touch with everybody to make sure everybody was okay. Our plant manager and our department manager had already got a contact list, wanting us to get in touch with everybody that we could.
And they was just surprised that someone was actually checking on them to make sure that them and their family was okay. And I told them this is the way of how we embrace our people, that not only do we respect you here at work, but even at home, because it's bigger than just being here at work. It's about, your health and welfare and your family health and welfare, because without them, there is no P&G.
Immediately after the tornado hit, she had already got a phone call from the Duracell, her boss, and it was just, I couldn't explain. I mean, it was just like, I'd never seen that or heard that from a company before, how quick they responded.
They brought coolers of drinks. We had flashlights brought in by other employees from the company. We had gift cards coming in, from different sources of people at the plant. And we had, that afternoon, we had several. They were like 10 guys from Duracell down here cutting down trees for us, getting them cleaned up. And it was just overwhelming, because people care.
My supervisor from Procter & Gamble, she actually called and asked if it was okay if she put my name on a help list. And I told her, yes ma'am, I'd take help from a beggar right now. Within about an hour and a half, I had 15, 16 friends cleaning up, showing up with water, food, chainsaws, trucks. I had supervisors showing up. It was amazing.
Finally got a hold to my husband, and he let me know that we had been hit, and we had been hit pretty hard. And he had let me know that all my co-workers had been out. They had came out, brought batteries, the flashlights, helped them clean up the yard.
It's like their family, it's like if it happened to one of their daughters or sons or loved ones, they just treated me the same way, and then I can't be thankful enough for what they did for me and my wife.
I received a call from the Cleveland Emergency Management Agency director, and they coordinate all of the emergency response agencies. They were instrumental in letting us know what their immediate need was the night of the tornadoes, actually. And we were able to respond to that and get that product to them the next day.
It's hard to describe. I felt honored that our company was going to send our people from the plant on company time to go out and help the community.
P&G had already set up a partnership or had contacted the American Red Cross. So we went down to the American Red Cross, and we got on a van and just, we picked up meals at the local high school. At Bradley High School had lunch, and we picked up dinner at Walker Valley High School, all those volunteers that were helping. So it was just a whole community effort.
When I walked into the distribution center, it was the first time I had ever worked in one, and I really didn't know what to expect. And I walked into the warehouse section, and the only product I saw was Procter & Gamble products. I saw so much of our products, it looked like one of our warehouses. It was filled to capacity. I was extremely proud, and I'm sure I started letting everybody know that that was the company I worked for, and we make those batteries, we make that paper towel, and it made me feel good.
I just thought it was really good of the company to just us go out during working hours and do it. Not many companies would do that, especially just trying to get some normalcy back to the community.
The people that I was volunteering with could not believe that our company had let us leave the business to go out and help the community and bring product with us.
We all just volunteered to go help as work would allow us to go, and it turned out that it was to the point to where we could go pretty frequently and pretty often to go help the neighbors throughout the neighborhood and the community that needed it. Because we practice and preach safety so much, it was everybody. It's amazing how ingrained it is in everybody at the facility now, and how it carries out when we walk out the door. It's just not within these walls and behind this fence. It seems like it's a part of everybody. The safety thing was everybody had gloves, we had safety glasses, earplugs. People that were using the saws, we made sure that we had the right goggles, headphones if we need them, earplugs, definitely no less than that.
We did find a single mom that did not have insurance and had numerous trees and a lot of roof damage. So we thought that was the perfect person. The people of Duracell came together as well, just as friends and co-workers. Everybody bonded really well that day. Being able to go out and help people during work hours, that was great. And with 40 people, we could get a lot accomplished.
I can remember getting closer to the destination, and as you turn into the single mother's property, all I could see was blue. With employees that I work with every day, knowing that I was a part of them and they was a part of me, it was overwhelming. I can remember seeing my department manager with a saw in his hand, my plant manager leading it.
Some guys from Duracell, they came out, I think it was on a Friday. They did their work and they did an amazing job. They were really great, got right to work and was well organized and did their job and accomplished a lot.
There's no words that could ever explain the gratitude that I have for those guys that helped me. What seemed like probably the darkest hour I'd had in years. When I topped that hill and saw that house and that Chuck had lived, there was just, I don't know, there was something inside me that felt like a whole weight had been lifted off me, because I didn't know if my neighbors that I used to have were alive or dead, but they were all alive. Amazingly, amazing grace, they were alive. So personally, I want to thank everyone that helped me.
And the phone calls and all the support from the Duracell family has just been more than overwhelming. And I just want to thank Duracell from the bottom of my heart for everything that they've done for us.
I really appreciate the guys here, and I just can't ask for a better work environment.
Just want to thank Duracell and P&G for letting us be able to help our community. Of course, I'm born and raised here, so it was a great thing for the community, and just being able to be a part of that was great.
For them to empower us to go out and work in the community and help in the way that we did, that a lot of us financially couldn't have done that without Procter & Gamble's help.
It makes you feel proud of the place that you work for when they'll send their people out to help somebody else.
It was on their time, it was their dime, and they still let us go out and do this volunteer work. And when I say that, I just don't mean that for 1 or 2 days. And when we volunteered, people were volunteering for 2 or 3 weeks down the road. We're still going out and helping. And obviously the first week, yeah, there was a lot of people that went out and volunteered, but It didn't stop after after the news people left. We were still going out and volunteering.
People I hadn't even talked to in years that went out there on some of those crews, and it was good to get back to those and work with them and everything.
And people are still saying, let's not let this just die because of one event, but this is truly who we are, and it's about their character and not just about the time that it happened.
My Duracell family, they really hung in there with me about taking care of us, anything we needed, all the calls, coming by to help. It was just awesome.
I have a newfound respect for all the folks that I work with now.
I know we were there to do a good deed, but I think that day we did something for each other. I think that day, if we stick together, there was nothing impossible for us to do.
April 27th, 2011 was a devastating day for the Cleveland community and the P&G Duracell family. The stories you've seen, the responses, and the results demonstrate the importance of employee moments of truth as it relates to personal and business crisis, the relationship between employees, and the relationship of employees with the company. P&G's purpose, principles, and values were lived out by the Cleveland Duracell site. Our people and our company responded in powerful ways to the needs of our community. The Cleveland employees have always demonstrated a volunteering spirit. But in the aftermath of these storms, they went above and beyond to meet the needs of those in our community. From delivering flashlights and batteries to those in need, to clearing debris and trees from homes, to delivering essential supplies of water and food. P&G, as a company and a people, touches and improves the lives of more consumers and employees in more parts of the world more completely. As plant manager for the Cleveland site, I am not only proud of our people, but we are proud to be a part of the P&G family.